He was just an old country duck from a little country town. Fame and fortune had passed him by, although we never saw him frown. As day by day, in his kindly way, he served us one and all. Many a patient forgot to pay, although a doc's fees were small. Though he needed his dimes, and there were times he'd receive a fee, he'd pass it on to some poor soul that needed it worse than he. He had to sell his furniture, couldn't pay his office rent. So, to a dusty room above a livery stable, Doc Brown and his satchel went. And on the hitching post at the curve below, to advertise his wares, he nailed a little sign that read, Doc Brown has moved upstairs. And then one day he didn't answer when they knocked upon his door. Old Doc Brown was a-lying down, but his soul was no more. They found him there in that old black suit. On his face was a smile of content. But all the money they could find on him was a quarter and a copper cent. So they opened his ledger. What they saw gave their hearts a pull. For beside each debtor's name, old Doc had writ these words, paid in full. Old Doc should have had a funeral fine enough for a king. It's a ghastly joke, our town was broke, no one could give a thing. Except Jones the undertaker, he did mighty well. Donated an old iron casket he'd never been able to sell. And the funeral procession, it wasn't much for grace, pomp, and style. But you know, those wagon loads of mourners, they stretched out for more than a mile. We wanted to give him a monument, kind of figured we owed him one, for he'd made our town a better place by all the good he'd done. So we pulled up that old hitching post where Doc had nailed his sign. We painted it white, and to us it really did look fine. Now the rains and the snows have washed away our white trimmings of paint. There ain't nothing left except Doc's own sign, and that's getting pretty faint. But you can still see that old hitching post, as if in answer to our prayers, mutely telling the whole wide world, old Doc Brown has moved upstairs.